Hello. So, Sega Genesis games. I wasn't sure where to start. I got loose booklets, and I got games. Why is there a sticker? I don't care. Anyway, and I got one that's actually in a case. So, it has the booklet and everything in the case. So we're gonna start with it. Got Goofy's historical history tour. So the booklet kind of tells you how to play, and I'll be honest with you, I didn't read the book before I started playing it, and I should have, because otherwise you'll be like me and immediately get yourself killed. Because this game's actually really hard, which is weird for a game that's rated GA or general audience. It means it's for like all ages. Now, of course, back then they really didn't know what they were talking about. When they made games, they didn't necessarily keep in mind the fact that they shouldn't make them impossible to play. Alright. And that'll be a case with a lot of the games. So the only game I didn't bring over here, because it's actually in my Genesis and I don't want to pick it up, Castlevania Bloodlines. It's the Castlevania Genesis exclusive, or at least it was. I believe it was included in the Castlevania collection that was released. That's called the Castlevania collection. I mean, it don't have an original name. I got it through PlayStation Network personally, so that I could have all the Castlevania games all in one spot. And I believe Bloodlines is one of the games on there. Let's just say it's a hard game. Like the first zone, I'm gonna call it zone. As long as you remember to dodge the breaking windows when you're fighting the werewolf at the end of the level, you're pretty much going to make it through that whole level no problem. But the next level almost instantly starts out with this annoying teleporting water guy and trying to time when to attack with the whip so that you hit him and he don't just teleport in order to kill him before he fills the whole area with water. It can be a task and frustration. And I've only made it past that like twice. And often I'll instantly end up getting killed by the two big old giant mech suit axe and sword guys, because there's two of them and it's kind of hard to kill both of them without one or the other killing you before you get to that point. Alright, so there's that to keep in mind. But yeah, I don't know if I ever actually beat the game because of how stupid hard it is. But I have made many attempts. Alright, The Lion King on Genesis. I recently found out why I could never beat this game. So it doesn't actually tell you in this game. At any point does it teach you this move. But there's a move as adult Simba where you can take and throw your opponent behind you. That is the only way to defeat Scar. You have to throw him off the cliff. It don't tell you that in this. In fact, it's not even what happens in the movie. Talk about bull. Alright, so, yeah. I've always made it to that fight. Never could figure out what to do. Now I know there's some stupid move that never bothers telling you. I think it's in the manual, actually. But who's going to do that? I don't even know if I have the manual. I haven't looked through that stack to see what ones I have. Alright, Tom and Jerry Frantic Antics. This is like a really hard, strange platforming game that I've never made it past the first stage in. So I don't really know what all is in the game because it's difficult. The Page Master. So, if you beat the game knowingly that there's stuff to collect in it, you get the bad ending. Not that it's very different from the good ending. It's just a screen. Just a screen that says, hey, you didn't collect all the library cards. Seriously. And then collecting them just gets you a screen with the, I don't know, evil guy. giving you a mad face and telling you, congratulations, you did it, basically. So, I always got the bad ending. I looked up what happens when you actually collect the stupid library cards, and I was like, yeah, that's not worth it. Just him mean facing me and being like, you did it. I guess he's bad. You beat him. Too bad, man. I've never understood that one. Like, even the movie, it's one of those things I'm like, yeah, that doesn't make me want to read. In no way has the Page Master ever made me want to read. The reason I read is because I like books, thankfully. But that would not convince a child to like books. Just, no. Monopoly. It's Monopoly, but video game. It's not that exciting. I mean, there's worse versions. Like, this is actually a pretty decent version of Monopoly. At the very least, there's more sounds than in some other ones. But, you gotta take what you get, I guess. So, this game, I don't know if you can hear it. There's like little, I don't know, pebble sounding thing in it. That's just, I don't know why they made them like this, but the Miss Pac-Man games all do that. At least if you have a genuine copy of it. Yeah. You can tell the ones that are like older, because like the stuff is starting to like fade, the labels. It's Miss Pac-Man. I mean, it's an arcade game, but on the Genesis. You know, it's Pac-Man with a bow on its head, basically. It doesn't really change anything. My nose is itching me. I don't think it would be a normal video if my nose didn't itch me. Alright, Barbie Supermodel. The longest time I was just like, Barbie? But it does say Supermodel. The top of it makes it more clear. So I don't really know. There's only like 3 total points where they show her modeling in the whole playthrough, across like 4 or 5 stages, it seems. So you always have a stage, 1 or 2 stages that teach you what button to press in the order to go in, and there's like, it's just like four times. And then you gotta memorize it, and then do it on the screen that doesn't have what button to press. It happens if you get it wrong, beats me, because I mean, who's gonna forget 4 button presses? And it's like, you gotta remember what order is she supposed to walk. She always walks like, so like the bottom left, up, to the right, and the bottom right. I'm like, really? So, yeah. She always just walks the same path. And I'm like, okay, whatever. So, it's not special by all means, so. Barbie Supermodel. The rest of the stuff consists of collecting these, like, really hard to get things in the road around all these things that are trying to kill you. And then occasionally minigame. And minigame generally consists of, here's a picture. I hope you memorize that in 2 seconds. What outfit was she wearing? I don't know. What child can memorize stuff that fast? I certainly couldn't. Not that I tried. I was like, I just always guess at it. It didn't seem to make a difference. You could still beat the game. No matter how much you were like, whether you completed it or not. The ending was always the same. It just, you eventually do your modeling thingy and then a title screen. Like, okay. I have no idea why the label is torn. But Bubsy. So this is the first Bubsy game. I think it's actually called like Claws Encounters of the Third Kind. Don't quote me. I don't remember. It's been a long time. Crazy thing is, I've watched so many videos talking about how terrible this stupid game is. This was my favorite game as a child. I don't know what that says about me, but as a child, this game, I played it a lot. I never beat the game. I don't even think I ever made it to the first boss. I'm pretty sure I only made it past the gumball machine one time to the area where the cars kidnap you. Pretty sure I always died to the weird bunny-looking creatures. I think they're supposed to be aliens, actually. And I don't think they're called bunnies by all means. I don't know what they're called. I always considered them bunnies. I don't know what that says about me. But I was like, oh, cool. I'm a kitty cat and there's bunnies. And I just had fun, like, bouncing on a tree to get, like, this. His little exclamation shirt thing is his, like, one-up in the game. And, like, at the beginning of the game, there's a tree you can bounce on. And there's absolutely nothing cluing you in on where you're at as you go up and down in this game, okay? But I always would bounce up and get the one-up shirt and collect all the yarn balls. Yep. Yarn balls are the collectible. At the beginning of the game every time. I don't really remember much else other than trying to play the game, but I mean, I was a child and really didn't know what I was doing. So most of it was just me dying and then starting over again. And again. And again. You would think after as much time as I spent on it, I would at least make progress. I mean, I would play the thing for hours, but I don't remember ever making progress in the game. In fact, I'm pretty sure I've never once fought one of the bosses based on the fact when I was watching a video about Bubsy, I went, wait, they have spaceships? I don't remember the UFOs. I must have never made it to the boss. I don't know what that says. It's golf. I've actually beat it a handful of times because, I mean, if you play it long enough, you can memorize the timing, what angle you need to hit the ball in. And before you know it, you'll be hitting holes in one, and you'll beat the whole game. Like it's nothing. But if you wait a couple years and come back to it, you'll be back to being as terrible as possible. Alright. Now, I never played this game by myself. I always played it with my dad. So this is Lethal Enforcers 2 Gunfighters. The top does not mention the fact it's 2. You have to look at this thing and see that there's a 2 there. I've never played or owned 1. Now, I know nothing about 1. I only know this one. And I also know we never had a light gun for it. We've always played it with the control. I found out that there was a light gun for the Sega Genesis and went, there was? I never knew that for some reason. I'm guessing I just never thought about it. We just always played it with the controllers, and I mean, we were good. Might have been my dad was good at it. I was good at the mini games, though. I do know I was good at the, like, shooting all the bottles in the bar for, like, the bonus stages, between stages. I can't say if I was any good at the actual shooting the guys thing. I was good at the don't shoot. I knew that. I knew to wait. Like, all right, let the lady pass. Get out of the way, goofus. I remember thinking she was an idiot too. Like, stop showing up. Every now and then there would be a guy too that would show up. Don't shoot. I'm like, what the? Then why are you here? Get. But yeah. I remember a lot of the bosses are ridiculous, but as long as you time hitting the exploding barrels so that you don't take damage, it's pretty easy to beat. That just maybe we were just good at the game, because we beat it quite a few times, because it was one of the multiplayer games that we had, and it was entertaining. Risk. I've never played this single player. I also played this multiplayer against my dad. My dad is an idiot when it comes to Risk. He is terrible. I one day decided to play it single player, by myself, and I was like, Either I suck at this game or my dad was just really bad at this game because I always won when I was against him. I played it by myself one time and I was like, oh boy, I'm losing. I lost. I was the first. I was the first one to die. I was the first one to run out of men. I was like, apparently I have no clue what I'm doing. Now, this is my dad's game. I saw this movie as a child and was terrified of dinosaurs for a long time. I still irrationally have a hatred towards them. Not scared of them anymore, at least. But I hate them. For no apparent reason other than dinosaurs. It's one of the few games that actually has like a rating on the cartridge. It's telling you. I like that it's mature 13. You can tell this stuff was old. 13's not mature, but okay. But yeah. Like, what does this say? Parental discretion advised. Yeah. I mean, this is nothing like the movie. I mean, the movie was graphic, at least. These are pixel things that you can. I don't even know if they actually show blood in it. Do they even actually show blood? I'm not sure that they actually show blood in this particular game. But the dinosaurs can eat the people. So, I'm pretty sure you play as a person in this one. Don't ask me. I don't even know what Rampage Edition means. I don't know if there was a non-Rampage Edition. I'm pretty sure you played as a human and shot dinosaurs. But, you know what? I never actually played it. Family Feud. I tried playing this a handful of times, and just like when I'm watching the show, I have no clue what the darn answers are, apparently. I can make some good guesses nowadays, but trying to play that as a child, and it's even more hilarious the stupid stuff you come up with. Crazy thing is, if your answer remotely spells anything that is close to what is supposed to be on the board, they'll give it to you. So you can put some random stuff as an answer in it. Decide that your letters align just so that you're correct. Didn't know that as a kid, or I would have started just randomly slapping letters together on the in the thing and hitting. Maybe that's it. Maybe it'll give me something. All right. Fun in games. So I'm gonna say this is Genesis' way of competing with Mario Paint, terribly so, because there was mini games, but they were terrible. They weren't too hard to beat, but they didn't really do nothing for you. And then there was a music creator thing, more like terrible sounds, the game. And then there was, you could draw images or take pre-created images and color them. I don't know that there was anything else. I mean, this is implying that there might have been another thing to do, but I don't know. I'm really not 100% sure what I'm looking at on this image because it's kind of creepy. And yes, these weird creature-looking things are in the game, and they are still creepy. I don't remember much about it other than I liked it just because there was no challenge or anything. I was a simple kid. Anyway. Clue. You know, it's a board game, but digitally. It's still hard and makes no dang sense. At least for me. I don't know. I've never understood Clue. I'm one of those people, I'm just like, what? I don't know. Wheel of Fortune. I mean, only problem with this game is playing it nowadays. A lot of the phrases and stuff are outdated, so you're like, what are they talking about? Granted, sometimes that's true for the television show as well. Like, what phrase is that? Sometimes I feel like they make stuff up. Okay. Jeopardy! Just like the TV show, a way to make you feel like you're stupid. It asks you stuff, and it actually wants the answer. And chances are I probably don't know it. I believe it goes ahead and puts in the question part for you, the what is or who is, and then you're supposed to do the rest. I don't remember if it was multiple choice or if you were supposed to spell stuff. It's been too long. I do know I played it a few times. I never got anywhere with it, so I moved on with my life. Super Battleship. I don't know what makes it super, but whatever. It's Battleship. Just more interesting digital video version of like the little pegs on the board. At least it's more entertaining than the pegs on the board. Let's put it that way. NBA Jam Tournament Edition. Yeah, it has a little TE for Tournament Edition. I was like, okay. Then one of the ones that randomly has an age thing on it, but this one's KA, Kids Through Adults, whatever that means. Ages 6 and up. I definitely played it before that. I don't know that I've ever actually done anything besides like play it just to see it and then kind of move on. Because I never was into sports games outside of playing golf because I was good at it for some reason. So Mortal Kombat. You can turn the blood on in this game, unlike on the Nintendo. So that made this one definitely the more preferred version. I never knew about that code as a kid, and honestly, I don't know that I cared. It was still fun. I had watched one of the movies, which, as corny as they are, to me it was exciting as a kid. As a kid, I liked playing Sonya, but as an adult, I tend to prefer Sub-Zero. I don't know. Anyway, Mortal Kombat 3. This one, they have the mature rating on it. They didn't have it on 1. And Mortal Kombat 2. I like how 2 was done in Roman numerals, but 3 was done with a regular 3. Yeah, 1 and 2 don't have the rating on them, but 3 does. Whatever. Okay, the Jungle Book. I actually didn't play this game that much because the monkey freaked me out. That was weird. King Louis was freaky. I didn't like him. He was a bad monkey. That was my logic as a child. I didn't like the bad monkey. This was also my dad's game, but oddly, I was pretty decent at winning the horse racing money and winning Keno. Caesar's Palace. They have all kinds of stuff in the game. There's slots. There's roulette. I want to say there's a card game. I can't remember if they got both of them. Do they got both poker and blackjack, or do they just got blackjack? I don't remember. And then they had the horse races and the Keno table. Keno sheet. You choose numbers and hope that your numbers are picked. I actually would choose some pretty good numbers. But yeah, it's kind of worn from the amount of times that my dad would play it. This was also his game. This one I didn't even play. I would watch him play it, though. I mean, it was entertaining for like a few minutes. It's fishing. But Outdoors Bass Tournament 96. Technically, it's the TNN Outdoors Bass Tournament. TNN. Is that even a company anymore? What does that stand for? Alright. Here's a game I spent way too long at trying to beat and still haven't, ever, in my life. Castle of Illusion starring Mickey Mouse. It's oddly hard, but yet again, I'm terrible at platforming, and that's what this is. For the most part, I believe to beat enemies, you gotta pop them on the head. You gotta jump on their head. Or you can jump over them if you're good at it, or something like that. I don't really remember much about the game other than this annoying music that would like play and the toy soldiers marching down the thing at me. I'm like, stop. because there's like never an end to these toy soldier guys. They're the worst. Uh, Desert Strike, Return to the Gulf, I guess. Um, you fly a little helicopter thing and you pick up little dudes, and you shoot some. There's bad dudes and there's good dudes. There's bad dudes shoot at you and you shoot them, and there's good dudes that you can somehow pick up and take to bases. I'll be honest, I don't really remember all the details other than that it's mainly a bunch of pixels, and my dad was the one who played it, and I did not understand this game. I tried playing it a few times, but I was like, I am completely clueless and have no idea what I am doing. Aladdin, and despite the image, this is the game you don't get a sword. Disney's Aladdin. This one had the better music. But personally, I think the Nintendo one had the better gameplay. Just based on the PlayStation Network collection of the games. I do like the music in this one. Granted, once you get to the prison area, the music starts to kind of be like, okay, what am I listening to? Especially when you're stuck in there for so long, because the stupid platforming is... Granted, as a child, I was stuck in the first stage for so long that the stupid Prince Ali song would stick in my head, because that's basically what's being played in the background. Yeah. It would just play so many times. And I would be like, this song is on my nerve. And it's such a long stage is what the problem is. A lot of the stages are really long. Instead of several instead of several smaller stages, it's just a few really long stages. That by the time you get to the end of the stage, you're like, that was one stage. You're ready to move on by then. But you can collect stuff, and there's like a genie roulette that can get you bonuses. I've never understood that part of it. And it makes weird noises. It never made any sense. I like the bonus stages in Lion King better, because it was like collecting bugs with Timon and Pumbaa. Alright. So, I've never played this game. I have no idea what this is. Like Crusader. I don't know. I don't know. I used to have a few more Genesis games, but due to my overplaying of them, they no longer work. I do have access to them digitally, though, so I've kept the books. So, Landstalker. This is one of those games that I really loved as a kid, and like now I'm older, I look at it, I'm like, I feel like this game was trying to compete with Zelda, maybe, cause you got like a kind of a, you got the pointy ears thing, and you got the magic sword, and there's a fairy. Granted, the fairy in this game, this little tiny chick, she's rude and mean. She's not helpful. And she doesn't say, hey, listen. She generally just says mean shit. She's not very nice to you. Did they even actually introduce the characters in here? Reading and speaking. Throwing items. Yeah, there's puzzles involved. I don't remember. Can you jump in this game? Was that the special thing about this game? You could actually jump. Yes. So you could fight and you could jump. And that was the one thing that I liked better than, because that was the only thing that's ever drove me crazy playing Zelda games. I'm like, I can't jump. Why can't I jump? I want to jump. Shops. Yeah, there was a save system too in this game. You could save your game at the church in town. That way, if you screwed something up, you know. Yeah, so they got Friday. She's a nymph. Okay. I always called her a fairy. I guess she's supposed to be a wood nymph. There's actually like a full on storyline in this game. They talk and everything. There are the bad guys that actually are introduced. Kayla, Ink, and Wally. They're just kind of idiots. I never made it far enough to meet the Duke Mercator guy or whatever. That or maybe you ain't supposed to meet him. I don't know. I never really cared. I don't know about the princess lady or the magician person. I know King Null, it's his treasures you're supposed to be getting. Yeah, the monsters. I remember these monsters. So you got the infamous bubble. You got these orc guys. You got these hypnotizing jerk butt mushrooms. Skeletons, of course, worms, Cyclops. I always just ran away from him. Lizard Man, he's just a little bit smarter than the orc. And I don't remember the knight. I don't know I made it over that far. Yeah, Ghost, Ninja, Mummy, Unicorn. That'll be interesting. Chest Mimic, Taurus Golem, Spectre, Reaper. Okay. I do love their troubleshooting guide. If you come across a locked door, trigger the switch. Find the key. Is it magic? Are you locked in a room? You can get locked in a room. Just destroy the monsters, generally. Switches don't stay switched. Path is blocked. You can't reach a high place. Keep missing a plant form. They basically just tell you keep trying. They're very nice, aren't they? You've been poisoned. There is poison cure. You have antidote, detox grass, or restoration potions in your inventory. You can pay the preacher. And sometimes you can just walk it off. You know, whatever. Paralyzed, which is what the stupid jerkalo mushroom guys do. There is an anti-paralyze, and yet again, the restoration puzzle. I don't think I've ever got the muddled. Stars fly around his head. Mind repair, okay. Cursed Grim Reapers circle you. And of course, the only thing works is restoration potion. Basically, you're going to be getting restoration potions a lot. So there is warping in the game. You got to find these like weird trees, and then when you go inside, this creepy music plays, and there's like a tree with a big old giant mouth. And now I'm older, I joke and say he's my version of the Great Deku Tree. Handling your cartridges. Oh, excuse me. Yeah. They give you tips and tactics. Their tips and tactics are just basically like, when you're playing the game, good luck. I like that they advertise Shining Force on the back, because that was another game. That was a game I actually beat. Unlike this one. This one, I never beat it because I couldn't figure out what to do. Half the time. I want to beat it one of these days. And here's my book for the Castlevania Bloodlines. Jeez. Just, there's a story in here that's like 4 pages long. It's just 5 maybe. Ridiculous. Alright. They tell you about passwords, options. The controls for the different characters, because you can do John Morris or Eric Lacard. What the items are. What the armaments are, because you can pick stuff up to help you. It shows you what some of the enemies are. Medusa's head, like jerk faces. Yeah, characters. What? Did I like skip past them? No, I guess that it does. Okay, yeah, they got like a brief mention of them. Yeah, so John Morris uses the whip, so he's the one I always used. And the other guy, Eric Lacard is a lanceman? I don't know. Anyways, the ultimate evil is actually Elizabeth Bartley in this particular game. Alright. Who cares? Alright. Sonic the Hedgehog. Again, cartridges die. It happens. I like that it advertises Castle Evolution. I have that game. Streets of Rage 2. It advertises Batman Returns. I never had that game. It just always looked like it was way too hard. Probably is. Risk. Not that you would really need a guide for that game. The Jungle Book. It advertises The Lion King. Super Battleship. Not that you need a guide for that, yet again. Toe Jam and Earl, Panic, and Funkotron. I beat Toe Jam and Earl, but I never beat this one. So I definitely still have the... It advertises a Ren and Stimpy game. I never liked the show, so I never got the game. I was terrible at this one, and my dad wasn't into it. He helped me beat Toe Jam and Earl, but he wouldn't help me beat the sequel. There's actually a manual for the Barbie game. I have no words. Mortal Kombat. It advertises Spider-Man and X-Men Arcade's Revenge, which from what I understand is a really hard game. So that's kind of evil. They don't have a cover anymore, so which... Okay, this is Mortal Kombat 2's guide. Jeopardy. And, yeah, Desert Strike. It's the back advertising. What the hell? Air Force? I don't know. Some other game by EA called Air Force. I have no clue. Yeah, Shining Force I had beat. And, Toe Jam and Earl I had beat with my dad's help. Shining Force I beat by myself as I got older and finally figured out how to beat it. I know there was like characters I never unlocked in Shining Force that I would like to go back and play the game sometime and actually unlock everything just to see everything. I can't remember if there's any other games that I had that were on the Genesis. I do know I used to have another Mickey Mouse game. I don't know what ever happened to it. That one got lost in the move at some point. Because I remember that you could play as somebody besides Mickey. And I remember it had a 2-player mode. But that's all I remember about it. So if you are familiar with Genesis games, could you tell me what the name of that game is? I want to find and get that game so I can play it and finish it, because I was on the last stage, and it was when I was younger, and it was before we moved, and I don't know what happened to that game, and I just cannot remember what the name of it is, and I can't find it. When I try to search for it, I'm clueless as to what I'm doing, I guess, when it comes to searching for it. But I remember you could play as Mickey, but you also could play as somebody else. I can't remember if it was Donald or Goofy. I figure it's one of them. And I remember that there was a 2-player option because they could help each other through the levels. I remember that. I remember you could play single player or you could play 2-player, and you could choose which character you played as if you chose single player. I don't remember much else about it other than I remember playing it, and I liked, because there's like an outdoors thing, unlike the Castle of Illusion, which is inside. This one was more like outside. I remember there being trees. I remember there being like this like wooden teeter-totter thing that you could jump on and like boost each other to get to the next spot you were trying to jump to. But that's... My memory's hazy because it's been so many years. But yeah, if you have any clue what that is, I would love to know the name of that game because I want to find it and play it. And actually beat it for once. I know I'm eventually going to beat all these games, including the ones I have to play the PS3 or PS4 Genesis collections for. Um, but yeah, that's all I remember about it. I don't know if there's any games that I don't have for the Genesis that are not part of the Genesis collections. As Genesis collections cover the Phantasy Star games, and they cover all the Sonic games. I used to also have Sonic Spinball, by the way. Never beat it. I always would get to the second or third area and then mess up too many times. Um, and then let's see what else. Gunstar Heroes is on one of the Genesis collections. I I think the only game that's not on Genesis collection that I think there's a remake for it, maybe Rocket Knight Adventures. I feel like there might have been a remake that came out. I can't remember. Uh, I need to get a hold of that game. But outside of Rocket Knight Adventures, I don't know that there's any games that came out on Genesis I don't have access to um, that are necessarily worth seeking out. So if you know any outside of the one I want to know about, the Mickey game that I can't remember the name of and can't find because I'm clueless on how to search for it apparently, let me know. All right. Well, that's it for the Genesis. I think I've talked way too much about it, but it was the game system I played the most. Uh, so with the Dreamcast falling closely behind on what I spent the most time playing in my life. Okay, in Dreamcast, I just kept playing and beating Grandia 2 too many times. All right, that's all for now. So thank you so much for watching. Bye.